welcome to my life. Welcome to Talk with Mercy. Share the life as you come, because today will be amazing. To be amazing. Today will be amazing. I'm just gonna. Just trying to share the life as I come. Yeah. Some It's okay. Um, mm, Put this. Welcome to Talk with Mercy. Today we're going to be talking about how to understand the man or understanding men in general. And we already have 20 questions that was sent to us. 20. And our guest is going to be answering all the 20 questions. And not wait. Guys, as you come, like the life, share with your friends and family. Why is this so hot? No. Share with your friends and family. It would be really nice to and like the life as you come. Our guest will be joining in few minutes. So these are some of the questions that was sent, and I had to compile them. It is more than 20 questions that was sent because I put it out there that people should send questions that you would love to be answered. So we have like 20, but I'm just gonna read them out. Guys, you'll be shocked at the kind of questions that was asked, that people asked me to ask our guest. Number one question, they said, from like the guest, from his perception, what is the biggest misconception women have about men? That's the first question someone sent. So you can still send your questions through Instagram, or you send it to my email, abakamisi@gmail.com. And then they have another one like, how important is respect to a man in a relationship? What does respect mean to them? Like, what does respect mean to a man? Do men handle love and heartbreak differently than women? If so, how? It's a lot of questions I got. I got, okay, approximately 30 to 35 questions, but I sieved them to be like 20 questions. So we'll see how that goes. Do men get intimidated by women's success? If so, what's just... Okay, I got distracted. That dog. What is one thing women do that will instantly make a man feel more connected to her? I want this one to be answered because even me, I need it in my life. Why do men sometimes cheat even though they say they love their partner? So, yeah. Why is this not coming on? Hello?
Hey, sorry, I'm going to be
Hello,
in the
sir.
car. Hold on, let me drop this down a bit.
Well done, sir.
Thank you.
You didn't
Sorry,
get
I'm in
home
the car. The
first.
heat wave in the UK is mad crazy. So, in a bit to cool myself down so I don't feel like I'm on the hot seat, I needed to come in the car.
So you
So,
went to the car to cool off.
yep, let me
Jesus.
know if there's any background sound disturbing. I can use my
No, no,
AirPod,
no,
right?
that's not.
I'm guessing so.
Hold on. No, no.
No, no.
Okay.
Can you hear me
Yes, I
clearly?
can hear you very well. Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Perfect.
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Guys, you're welcome. Our guest is here, but yeah, we have a lot of people since, but yeah. So we have almost 30 questions that people want you to answer, but I only sent you 10. Yes, I only sent you 10, but we'll see how it goes if we can answer the 20 because I sieved them and I have 20 questions.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, go on.
Okay, so I'm just going to start. And so, guys, please, as you come, like the live, share with your friends and family, because I don't know why everybody's anyway. Earlier, when I just opened, I had like 20 people, and now I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, they're
Okay,
gonna
so
join
I'm just
anyway.
gonna, yeah, they can watch it later.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna start. I will record this one now. Okay, I'm gonna start. It says from your perception, from your
Okay.
perspective, what is the biggest misconception women have about men?
Okay. For starters, let me put a disclaimer
Yes,
out there. Everything I'm going to say would basically be from my perspective. It's going to be my opinion and entirely my opinion. And I dare to say I'll probably be speaking for a lot of men, but people are different. Everybody is not the same. But you know, for the most part, it will be my perspective and the perspective of most men. So yeah.
yes.
What was the question again?
From your perspective, what is the
Okay.
biggest misconception women have about men?
Okay. So what is the biggest misconception? So just one thing, because for me, I could mention 20. But I
Just
think,
I like it. I think it's a foundation. You can just start
yeah.
from there.
Okay. So I think, personally, I think one of the biggest misconception I think women have about men is that we don't feel. I think a lot of people believe that men don't feel as much as men do. I've had people say, "Oh, you're a strong man." Statements like that that makes you feel like you don't feel nothing. Nothing shakes
Mhm.
you, nothing moves you. Women on the other hand, are pretty much very emotional being. And
Yes,
at the tiniest misconceptions or issues, a woman can cry easily. Our emotions are all over the place. You can really see that this person is distraught and all that, whereas a man can just keep his cool. And in your mind,
yeah.
you see, doesn't even feel nothing. It doesn't care. But that can be far from the truth. Any more far
Yes,
from the truth than it is, because for the most part, men feel. I dare to say most times men even feel more than women. The fact that we don't show it doesn't mean we don't feel. I think for me that's one of the biggest misconception about women have about men. When
Yeah.
they are in their moments, when you're in your moment, you're crying, you're wailing, you're screaming, and the man is just there, stoic, you're not moving or flinching. Is easily
Mm.
misconstrued to say he doesn't care. He doesn't feel your pain. He doesn't feel what you're going through at that point in time. But men and women process very, very differently.
True.
While a man might process internally, women are much more expressive with their emotions. You can easily
Emotions.
tell that a woman is distraught compared to a man. So yeah, I think for me, that's one of the greatest misconceptions I think women do have about men. Mm.
Hmm. Okay. I'm just gonna go number two. Why do you think many men struggle to express their emotions openly?
Okay. Yeah, I think in the first question you asked, I think I tried not to talk too much, but I like the second question you followed up with because it's kind of connected in a way. For
Yeah.
the first part, going by your first question, men feel. Your question says why does it? Can you take that question again? I just want to pick a word from there.
Why do you think many men struggle to express their emotions
Great.
openly?
Yeah. So I think it has a lot to do with societal values. There is I don't know if I'll call it societal pressure where a man is made to feel like an iron man. You're not meant to express pain. You're not meant to express fear. You're not meant to express your emotion. You hear statements like, man up. You know, there is no such statement
Yeah,
as
man,
woman
don't
up.
cry.
You hear statements like man up. You're a man. Come
Mm-hmm.
on, man, shake it off, man. You're a man. Come on. You hear statements like that being thrown around all the time. And even as a child, even as a
Yeah.
little boy, so men grow up with that perspective, with those kind of statements eating them left and right. Man up, you're a man. Why are you crying? You're a man, man. Don't embarrass yourself, man. Man up, man up. So you grow up thinking that's normal. So men grow up thinking showing weakness, showing emotions, showing pain is a sign of weakness, is a sign of not being a man, is a sign of, being weak, or not being
Yeah.
confident. So, it builds up. And because it's something that's been conditioned in you from a child, you grow up not even knowing how to express emotions anymore. So for most men, it's not because they don't want to, or because that statement of man up is still kind of controlling them in a way. Is basically because they've been conditioned not to be able to express emotions. So it's something you've heard
Mm.
all your life. So growing up, it's like a part of you. You've studied to play
Mhm.
football all your life. At some point, you're very good at it because you've learned to play it all your life. So it's exactly the same with men. You've had those statements growing up. Man up, this, that. Stop being a weaker vessel. Don't do this. Don't do that. You're a man. You're a man. You're a man. So it becomes a part of your daily life. You're conditioned not to express things that
Yes,
would
sir.
normally be normal for you to express. So you're conditioned not to express them because you've had that so many times growing up. So it's not
Mhm.
something a man is doing deliberately, it's something he's been conditioned to do. But trust me, inside that man is literally dying, is falling apart, is breaking into pieces. But you've been conditioned not to express them. So that's when you see a man coming back from work and he's pulled up in his driveway and he's not coming out of that car for 30 minutes. He's not doing anything. He's not setting his stereo. He's processing. He's looking for, a safe space to express himself,
Mm.
but only to himself. You can't express it to the outside world. You can't express it to anybody else, just yourself. But things have changed slightly because men really express to fellow men now. You can call some of your guys up, share what you're going through. Depends on the kind of friends you keep,
Yeah.
but generally speaking, men are conditioned not to really express, and it's from childhood, societal pressure, society believes, things that you've been made to believe over time. Don't show this, don't express that, man up, be a man. All these statements go a long way to condition you into who you are growing
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Well, that one hits differently though.
Yeah,
How
but it's true.
how how important is respect to a man in a
Mm.
relationship, and what does respect mean to a man?
Oh, that's a very, very, that's a very, very deep one. And I think the best way to answer that, especially coming from you, a woman, is the same as asking yourself, what is love to a woman?
Hmm.
What does love mean to a woman? Respect to a man is love, as love is to a woman. A woman loves to be cherished, love to be adored, love to be cared for, pampered, and all that. For men, it is respect. Men don't really care about what you say, if you're not showing it. You can tell me you love me a million times in a day. It doesn't make any difference to me. It doesn't matter to me if you're not showing that you respect me. Respect to a man is value. You value me. I mean something to you. My opinion matters. I'm not just a tool that fix
Hmm.
things around the house. I'm somebody of great value to you. So you can love a man as much as you think you love a man, but if you don't respect a man, hey, that relationship is not going anywhere. So respect is love to a man as much as love is to a woman. So
Hmm.
respect is the love language of a man. Love is the love language of a woman. Simple, pretty much. So if you don't respect a man, that relationship is not going anywhere. No matter how hard you try, it's not going anywhere.
Wow. Okay, so I'll just keep the question coming, and then you can
Okay.
just, like, it's a foundation, like I said, you can just go around it. Guys, welcome. Thank you, Lady Oswell, Favor. Don't forget to like and share. Okay. Do men handle love and heartbreak differently than women? If so, how?
Your questions are hitting hard. Um,
That was what the question they sent to me.
it's is connected in a way to your first and second question. It still goes back to the whole man up situation. Men express heartbreak as much as women do. The only difference is the way they express them.
Hmm.
You break up with a woman today, she may smack herself on the floor. You see her crying all over the place, doing whatever. You know, a man on the other hand can spend 10 hours washing his car. That's heartbreak to him. He might start fixing things that are not broken in the house. Something is abandoned for a whole year, not touched. That's when he feels the need to fix it. And apart from that, women express heartbreaks immediately. It hits instantly. You break up, it's instant for a woman. The whole emotions are there. She's pouring it all out and all that. But to a man can compartmentalize emotions. You know, push it down into a compartment and wait for the time to burst. You know, you have a man breaks up today or gets broken up with, whichever way, and you see him hanging out with friends later tonight. You see him going to watch football the next day. But trust me, 1 month from now, he might just be in a corner. It could just be a song. It could be a movie on TV that would just trigger everything, and that's it. It's the same as losing a loved one. For a man, you lose your mom, you lose your dad, you see the women crying. Most of the time, you see the men just talk off, and you feel like, is this person not connected to what's going on? Is he not feeling him? Your mom just died. But no, 6 months, when I lost my mom, he eats me instantly, but I didn't know how much he eats until months later. And sometimes, and I'm not even doing myself any good. I have her pictures everywhere in my house, and sometimes it could be me just walking in from work and just seeing her face, and that's it. But trust me, he didn't eat as much. Uh, he didn't eat as much as when it initially happened, and that's the same with
Yes.
heartbreak. Men may not necessarily process heartbreak immediately, but it doesn't mean that they don't feel it. It could be something they will feel sometime down the line, compared to a woman that will express it instantly. So yeah, it's we feel exactly the same, if not more. It's just the expression that matters, the way you express it.
Ewa, can
Yeah.
you see questions from your end?
Um. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Can you answer that?
So there's nothing like.
Hard man.
So there's nothing like hard man. So so that's from Favor Ify, right? So it still boils down to
Yes.
what we're talking about. You know, it is exactly the same thing we talked about earlier. Hard man, be a man. You know, a man is a man, whether it's hard man, soft man, rugged man. These are the terms you add to a man's prefix for him to feel like he's not human. He's some superhero. There's no such thing as a hard man. You see that man, as a hard man, eat him with something strong. One day you know he's as soft as. I always say, crack a joke with my friends when we talk about things like this, and I'm like, everybody's got a soft part in their heart. You know, every single human has got a soft part in their heart. You've not seen a situation where a hired killer goes into somebody's house to kill them, and for some reason he changed his mind. It could be something the mother said, it could be something the person said, it could be something somebody said in the house. He has a change of heart, and this is a professional killer. Going into somebody's house to carry out, something he's been doing for God knows how long, and he changes his mind. I've had stories of, you know, people going into people's houses to rob them and eventually still giving them money to say, hey, I think you guys are suffering more than we are doing. So basically, everybody has got a soft spot in their heart. You just need to touch it. It's as simple as that. So there's no such thing as a hard man. That man that is proving hard to you, eat him with something hard. It could be a breakup, it could be mother's, a loved one's death, you know, and it will break. But when they hear that statement way too much, be a hard man, be a strong man, you tend to want to live it like a superhero. But you're not,
Yeah.
you're not. That's just acting. That's you not wanting to break down. You've been conditioned to believe you're a hard man. So any opportunity for you to break down, you're not taking advantage of it. You're being hard, but you're dying inside. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you just need to bust out. You just need to express that pain and emotion, and you feel better.
Get
But
it.
because you've been conditioned to believe you're a hard man, you're pressuring yourself not to express it. And then before you know, your cup don't full, and you flow all over the place. But that would only be in your own private time, and everybody still sees you as that hard man, whereas you don't soft for corner. So we're
True.
just programmed not to express publicly, but it's not because we don't express, but we're not programmed to express publicly. Does
Hmm.
that make sense?
It does make a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
sense. Jesus.
Mm.
Guys, thank you for these questions, by the way. Even me, I'm learning a lot. I'm on learning. Why do some men withdraw or go silent when there is a conflict?
Um. Okay, I like the fact that you said some men because not every man, but
Yeah,
it's some women are like that as well. But we're
true.
talking about men, so
Men.
so this is not to say it's exclusive to men, but most of the time when a man goes quiet, is mostly to I would say protect himself and protect the relationship. Men are much more logical thinking humans compared to women. No disrespect to women, but women are much more emotional. A woman is hot
True.
now. A woman is hot now. She can say everything she wants to say. She's flaring up. She's throwing tantrums. A man
Tantrum.
is much more thinking, of calming down the situation, cooling the situation down. And if you are a woman that is pretty much hard you know, to cool down. I don't want to use the word I'm thinking in my head, but if you're a woman
Mhm.
that is hard to cool down, you will find that the man is, withdrawing into his shell, keeping quiet. It's not because there's nothing to say, but at that point in time, he's protecting that relationship. He doesn't want to say or encourage you in his way of responding to you to say
Mm-hmm.
something that will be damaging on the long term. You know,
True.
most times, out of anger, you can say things that would linger on for years, you know, and sometimes men understand that more to an extent more than women. So if he's quiet or even walks away, that's not because he doesn't care. That's him just shielding himself and protecting any further damage. At that point in time, if a man goes quiet and because most of the time he starts talking, and after a while he just shuts down. He's not talking anymore, or he tries to walk away. At that point in time, as a woman, check yourself. You've probably hit a nerve. You've probably said something, or you're probably overdoing at that point in time. And he's thinking, if I keep going this way or keep, talking for her to talk more, a whole lot will be said that we can't take back. So that's him protecting himself and protecting the relationship, and you know, in the general context, protecting you. Because if he continues talking, you will continue talking, and you end up saying things you can't take back. So when a man walks away or keeps quiet, don't instantly think that that's that man not caring. As a matter of fact, that's him in his utmost care. Not wanting to damage, yeah, not wanting to damage anything, anything further than what's already
Mm-hmm.
happening. Yeah. Next one.
Wow. Yes. Okay, number 6. What role does ego play in the
Ooh,
way men communicate and make decisions?
ooh. All right, that's deep because I'm very guilty of that one myself. So, and I would relate it as well to your previous questions about respect. You see,
Yes.
ego is a double-edged sword in the sense that a lot of people see ego differently as being bad or being wrong. To a man, ego is a shield. So if you can, there's something you can't take away from a man is his ego. The minute you take that ego away is nothing. So when you see a man
True.
showing strong ego, is not arrogance. A lot of women interpret it as arrogance. He's being pompous. He's being this
AY.
stuff. Yeah,
AY. One
yeah.
sec, please. Your network, I think it is on the metrics. Maybe somebody's trying to call you or something is going on. It keep going something like that. Guys, you're welcome. I hope you're learning. All your questions have been answered. So if you have more questions, send it to me on Instagram, or you can just send it to my email,
Okay.
and your questions are going to be answered. And guys, like and share the live. I know you guys are enjoying this section. Thank you so much, guys. Okay. Yes,
Is it better now?
it is way better.
Okay, great. Let me put my other AirPod on. Maybe it's gonna help as well. Okay, yeah,
Okay.
go on.
Okay, should I rephrase the question or it's okay? Should I ask the question
Yes,
again?
please. Am I gone again?
Sorry?
Am I still here?
Yes, you're still
Okay,
here.
yeah.
I think if you
Rephrase the
take,
question, please.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the question again, I'm just gonna record this one. Okay. Um, what role does ego play in the way men communicate and make decisions?
Okay. I thought I answered that earlier. Okay, so
No,
like I
you
said,
were, yeah.
okay, like I said, so ego is related to respect to a man. So when a man is filled with ego, it's easy for you to misinterpret it for arrogance. Ego to a man is not arrogance, it's just shielding himself. You cannot take ego away from a man. Taking away ego from a man is like taking away his dick. He doesn't feel like a man anymore. Is what makes him manly, is what makes him feel valued in himself, is what gives him confidence. The minute you take away that ego, you know, there's no man anymore. He doesn't feel like he's a man anymore. So for a woman, is always it's what's that word I'm looking for? It's an art that you need to learn, how to deal with a man's ego. You can't just instantly see a man's ego as arrogance and wants to put it down. When you put it down, a man with a good ego can build a relationship with you. But a man with a shattered ego will build a wall. You won't be able to get
Mm.
through him anymore. He's instantly building this very strong wall that you can't penetrate anymore.
It can
That's why
penetrate.
I always advise women most of the time that the worst thing you can do to a man is use something he told you in his vulnerable moment against him, or to score cheap points when you're having an argument. You will
Argument.
never hear a word from that man again. In fact, funny enough, I think it was sometime yesterday or 2 days ago, I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw this compilation of videos where men were just, being men, being kids. A man, there was, one of the instances, there was a man in a store with his woman, and he was pretty much rolling the cart, jumping on it and rolling himself. And the woman was like, "Stop being a kid, stop being a child,"
Uh-uh.
you know, things like that. And different instances, I can't really remember, but so many different ones that is like different men now, not one particular man. Just different scenarios. I don't know if it was a prank that they recorded or just something that was, caught in the moment. But after those statements, stop being a child. What's wrong with you? Why are you eating like that? You know, why are you behaving like that? What's wrong with you? Things like that can instantly floor a man's ego. And you can see in that video how those men became instantly withdrawn throughout the day. Oh, are you okay? Yeah. Oh, what's wrong with you? Oh, I'm all right. Oh, what do you want to eat? Oh, anything. Oh, are you tired? Oh no, oh, I'm okay. You know, you will just be hearing words. You're not getting statements anymore. You're not getting sentences anymore. Just
Mm.
short statements, and that's it. So you need to learn how to handle a man's ego, because it's an art that a woman should learn. If you don't know how to handle your man's ego, and instantly what your first instinct is to bring it down. You can't be around me and be pompous. Don't be arrogant. You're it will be very, very difficult for you to have that man you want. And I'm going to give you another instance, and I hope he's not watching this video, he's not going to say it. I have this friend who, you know, we had an argument one day, and this is me deviating a bit. There's this general saying that I'm sure you've heard, everybody has heard: happy wife, happy home. And I've always disagreed with that statement, and this guy so much carries this statement, like a trophy, you know. Happy wife, happy home, any small thing. Oh, bro, now, happy wife, happy home, happy wife, happy home. And I'm like, dude, you don't love your wife any more than I love my wife. My wife is my world, she's my life. But my wife herself will agree with you that it's happy couple, happy home. You know,
Mm.
you don't, there's no such thing as happy wife, happy home. A lot of people, literally believe that stuff, and pardon my French, I call it nonsense. A lot of people literally believe that nonsense that they end up, living that way. And in this guy's defense, is a really good definition of happy wife, happy home, because he does basically everything for his wife. Those men who don't move finish for their wife. But you now know the shocking part of it. This
Well,
same wife, I've never had this same wife talk anything good about this guy outside. In fact, she goes around. How do I put it? Expressing pride and ego in how she controls the guy, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Statement like, don't worry now, Libby, he's going to be the one to push it. Yeah, I won't touch it. Oh, no, he said he's going out with his friend. I'm not letting him go anywhere. That one, he's not stepping out of the house. You know, but that's because he has literally practiced that happy home, happy wife, happy
Wife
home
of
for
a
way
home.
too long, that he has indirectly relinquished his right as a man to his
Mm.
wife. Even though he is practicing it the right way, the woman is taking it the wrong way. So, going back to ego and a man, you can't take away ego from a man, because in his way of practicing happy wife, happy home, he has lost his ego completely. And because he's lost
Absolutely.
his ego completely, it's easy for the wife to drag him outside anytime, without feeling any remorse. So the wife is now the one with the ego, making everybody, trying to prove herself to the public, how he controls him, how she can do whatever she likes without the guy checkmating him, you know,
Yeah.
not realizing that you bringing your man down like that in public is not just bringing him down, you're bringing down yourself. There is no
Your
pride for
home
any woman.
entirely.
Exactly. You're bringing out your woman entirely. There's no pride in a woman that is feeling pompous outside and flaunting his control over his man. And that's why you see a lot of men not letting down their ego, not letting down their guard, because, I always, pardon my French, I always say a woman is like a copper wire. Whatever you bend them is where they go. So if you're somebody that you just, wanting to over please, you would, women are conditioned to understand what they see and practice
Mm.
what they see most times. So if you're not, because there's no joy in you as a woman having a man who doesn't have you, who doesn't have your back. So for your man to be a man is your pride as a woman. So the minute a man drops his guard and lets you take over, it will be a short-lived joy that would,
Mm.
on the long term, be a messed up home. So
Yeah.
that's always the issue. So
Mm.
yeah, you can't take away ego from a man. You take away ego from a man, you've taken
It's
out
no
that man
longer a
completely.
man.
He's no longer a man.
I
You might as
I
well just get married to a woman. Simple.
I heard somebody say always feed a man's ego and then you
Exactly.
enjoy the man.
Exactly. So it's
Because
as
if you
simple
don't
as that.
feed the ego, like
If you don't
feed
feed the
his
ego,
ego, he
yeah,
will start being
exactly.
men need place
If a man's
to
ego becomes your problem,
yeah,
you know, you're destroying your home instantly, because you
true,
need your man to have that ego. You feed that ego, making sure, because ego to a man is confidence. When he has ego, he's
true.
confident. You take him outside, he's confident. He's got you. He can protect you. He feels like you know, he's got you. He has to protect you. But when you bring down that ego, when he's
He will
outside, he
need you to
feels like he
protect
feels
yourself.
not even protect yourself. He will even need you to protect him,
God
because
I
he's no
beg
longer
you.
a man. You understand?
God I
So
beg you.
so so you're not just going to be protecting yourself, you're going to be protecting him.
Ah,
So
Mama
that's the thing.
Joe.
Yeah.
Okay, so number seven question. Thank you so much for that. That was
Mm.
that hit deep. Number seven question. This person said, what are the top three things men secretly wish women understand about a man?
Okay, I might say more than three, because some of it I've mentioned indirectly from your previous questions. We
Yes.
feel, we feel very deeply. I don't know how else to emphasize that. Like, we feel very deeply. A lot of women believe men are superheroes, like some Iron Man, without a heart, without feelings, without nothing. So you throw something at them and you feel they don't feel it. It may not show emotions, just like we've discussed in the past, like you expect him to, or like a woman will. But trust me, he feels deeply. So don't just assume what you did not affect him, did not touch him in any way, shape, or form. You know, in public, he's trying to say something, and that's when, where's my husband? Let me massage. In public, you feel the need to you feel the need to he's saying something you don't agree with. You don't have to
Mm,
disagree with him in public.
in
you know
public.
there's no respect there is no form of justification in it. Let him have his way, because at the end of the day, you should understand the concept of different perspective. So what
Yeah.
he's saying may not necessarily be in tune with you, doesn't mean you are right as well. you know
Mhm.
he's expressing his own opinion. Is okay, let him express it. When you're in private, you can then call and say, babe, that thing you said, I didn't agree with it. He will not only respect you, he will adore you for that, because you've
Mm,
protected his ego, you've protected his image. So men feel, don't just assume you can throw anything at a man because you have it at the back of your head that he doesn't have any feelings. Men feel,
mm,
and they feel very, very deeply. Be very careful what you throw to a man. You know, when a man shares things with you in his vulnerable moment, don't use it in future to score cheap points. You will never get over it because he will never get over it. You will be something he's then protecting himself for. So that's number one. Number two, let me think about that one deeply. We are simple, and it
Men
sounds
are simple.
complicated. Exactly what I said. I'm glad you immediately responded like that. We are simple, and it sounds very simple the way I said it, but I know in your head is extremely complicated. We are dead simple. You see the whole of that long eyelashes that is touching the ceiling. You see that 3.5 million naira wig on your head. We really do not care. You see the whole of that makeup on your face. Honestly, we don't give a damn. You see that all back shuku or whatever you call those hair design. You'll be so shocked that that shit is sexy to a man more than all the wig you can put on your head. We are simple. Life for us is extremely simple. We are not magicians. We are not mind readers, but we are dead simple. You want us to do something for you? Say it. You're feeling some kind of way? Open your damn mouth and say it. Don't sit in the corner and be wondering when it's going to notice it. We have so many things we are dealing with. We go into the world every day. The world eats us down. You're struggling. There's this pressure to provide. There's this pressure to protect. There's a whole lot a man is dealing with. Don't make his life complicated by expecting him to be some magician. If there's anything you want him to do, say it. And another thing you need to know about a man is, how do I say this in a very
Nice
soft
way.
way, nice way? Most of the time that you piss your husband off or your boyfriend or your sugar daddy, whatever the man is to you, I will say it in a simple way. It is not what you say, it is how you say it. Simple. Like, men are not very complicated. Understand that you can achieve things by not being saucy, by not being disrespectful. You don't help me with anything in this house. From morning to night, I'm busy cleaning, I'm busy doing this. You're not going to get shit done.
Just
I'm not going to
as
help you with a damn thing by you running your mouth like that. That shit ain't going to work. You know, oh, babe, I would really love it if you can help me with this. Oh, of course, babe, I got you. He's jumped to it. So it is not what you say, it is how you say it. Very, very important. You know, it is not what you say, it is how you say it. You know, sometimes we've been kids, we've been children, we grew up into adults, and all our lives we've been fathered by our fathers, we've been mothered by our mothers. We did not marry you or girlfriend you to mother us. You know, women come into a man's life and wants to be his mom. They want to tell him what to do, how to do it, this. There is a way you communicate with a man that people around will start saying that man has eaten vegetable. They will say you have gone to Babalawo to hide his head under your armpit because you have developed the act of talking to him in a way he understands. Don't just open your mouth wah and talk. You see, when you scream, when you shout, when you talk in a disrespectful manner, especially when you shout, a man is no longer seeing you as a woman. A man sees a soft woman. When you shout and behave that way, a
you
man
see
is seeing a
Agbero.
man. He's seeing a bros in front of him, like, let's pa. You don't turn mad person, I don't turn mad person. You know, a man is seeing a completely different thing. There's one funny meme I saw some time ago that one funny looking girl with some standing hair, very ugly looking and all that. And somebody said, this is how my man sees me when I piss him off. That's the exact, I don't know if you've seen that meme. That is the exact same thing. When you piss a man off, when you are that, running your mouth and jumping and saying all you want to say, trust me, a man is not seeing you as that soft, loving woman he got involved with.
You
He's seeing
say
you like an
bro.
agbero, a bro. Like, so at that point in time, that softness he sees in you that makes him approach things in a calm way. This is my baby, let me, be nice. And he's not saying it anymore. So he's now talking to you like we are both mad. So learn to talk in a way where people will be asking you where you get this man mumu button. Women don't understand that they can achieve a whole lot by being soft. And I'm going to deviate again. You see, this whole feminism movement is beautiful, is brilliant. But a lot of people are misconcepting it, if there's a word like that. Feminism arises purely for men and women's equality, mostly in the place of work and society. Women have brought it into the home. And you know one funny thing about it? It's okay when it works for them. When that equality involves money and doing things the exact same way, paying bills the exact same way, it then becomes unfavorable. But women don't understand that your feminism is your soft side. There is a way you would, and you will be a feminist to a pro level that people would think you have turned that man into a mumu. Because your feminism is your soft part. Being a feminist is being soft towards your man, not being, equal partners. Our two will carry blue. You understand? Like your softness is what a man wants to see you as a feminist as, not being an agbiru, like a man. You understand? When you're soft to an extent, you will not ask before you're given. I was talking to a lady some time ago, and she complains a whole lot about her husband. Oh, he doesn't give me this, he doesn't give me that. This is how much he gives me every month. Can you imagine this little change? This, that. And I'm like, you really don't understand that you're not gonna get more or get everything you want by belittling his efforts. There is no money you give a woman that is enough. Don't
No,
deceive yourself.
no.
There is no money that you
No.
give a woman that is enough. It just depends on the level you are.
Oh,
There
true.
are men today that all they can afford to give their woman based on the level they is 10,000 naira a month. And trust me, that woman is boasting among her friends who are getting just 2,000 or not even getting anything at all. Do you understand? That, oh, my husband gives me 10K a month. Whereas there's somebody that her husband is giving 100K a month that is complaining that is not enough. And there's another person that is our husband is giving 500 million a month. Now level, what I will give my wife a month is different from what Dangote will give his wife a month. Now level.
Yes.
What makes that money enough is your contentment as a
An
woman.
appreciation.
You understand? I always say a woman learns to live within the means of her husband because nothing would ever be enough. You
True.
make it enough by appreciating what he has provided and making him feel like that thing he has provided is the world to you because nothing is ever enough, you
No.
know. So you need to learn to appreciate every man's, every effort the
Effort.
man makes.
Hmm.
You will think your thank you doesn't go a long way, but trust me, it does. You know, you would think your, oh my God, babe, you do so much for us, doesn't go a long way. Oh, trust me, that's the reason that guy is waking up at 4 a.m. tomorrow and saying that I need to do more. I need to hear
Hmm.
this thing more, you know? So those little things that you think he doesn't appreciate or he doesn't hear, trust me, you'll be so shocked how deep it goes in his mind. That time you just call him at work and say, oh, babe, I just thought to check up on you. I just want to thank you for everything you do for us. You're really amazing. We see you every day. You just, me, I'm talking it from me now. Oh, babe, I don't hear you. I don't hear you. Okay, bye, 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 bye. That thing hits me hard.
Hmm.
But what? Oh, you have started again. Okay, bye. I love you. Boom. But it hits. You know, my wife does school run every morning. And I know anything from 8:55 a.m. to 9 a.m. That 5 minutes gap, I know she's back home. And I'm waiting at work for that phone to ring because I know she calls me around that time. And sometimes she doesn't call till 9:30. or 10 o'clock. And the next thing why have you not called since? Why have you not called since? You know, when I call you, we say you be cutting the call short and say, hey, bye, bye, bye. But I still want you to call now. Okay, bye. And oh, you've done it again. And what else do you want to say now? Bye, bye, bye. You know, but you see that short call that I'm doing style to say bye, bye, bye. It means a whole lot. So understand that little things matter to a man. He may not show it because we are not. A lot of men are not brought up to show love the way they are not brought up to show pain, but they show love by means of action. A man changing your tire is him telling you I love you. A man taking your car for service is him telling you I love you. A man fixing that cupboard you bought is him telling you I love you. You see those little things he fixed around the house, washing your car and all those things. That's a man telling you how much you mean to him. It doesn't have to say, there is not that there are not men that say it, but you need to understand the majority of men are not good with expressing feelings. The same way they are not good with expressing pain or sadness when they are hurt and all that, is the same way they are not good with expressing emotions, expressing their feelings to say, oh, I love you, baby. A lot of men can say, I love you, baby, you're my world. I know some men do, but not every man has the capacity to do that because we're not conditioned to show those things, but we show them by means of action, by the things we do. You see a man breaking his back every single day for his family. That's him showing how much that family means to him.
Means to him.
Do you understand? There's a story I like to tell to show that. There's a story where this guy went to the zoo with a woman, and the first thing they saw were monkeys. These male and female monkeys. Playing with each other. Hugging each other, feeding each other bananas and all that. And the lady was like, "Oh, what a lovely couple! See the way the monkey is treating the wife. Oh, they are nice. They are this, da 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 da." And then they went to the lion's cage, and the lioness was in a corner, and the lion was in another corner, not anywhere near each other.
Yeah.
You know, and the lady was like, "Oh, look at that! You know, it's not even showing love to the wife. Doesn't care. The wife is there. Maybe he doesn't even care if she's eating any prey or anything." And the guy was like, "You know what? Please learn how to say it."
Lady
and,
Oswell.
and you
Thank
know
you.
what? And you know what? The guy was now like, okay, you want to know who loves the wife the most out of the two of them? He said, come with me. Gives the woman a stone and said, stone that monkey and see what happens. The lady stones the monkey. The male monkey japa go left. The female monkey japa go right. So you see, that is expressing feeling on the surface.
Yeah.
That's not real love. They can show the whole mushy mushy and all that, but when it comes to standing for that love, you'll not see them stand. So now let's go to the lion's cage. You see that lioness in the corner? Throw stone at that lioness and see what the lion will do. And as you can expect, you see what the lion did. So a lot of men are like that. We may not be able to express love and be all mushy mushy, kissing you in public, holding your hands, the whole African context. I'm talking of
Yeah.
African men in general now, you know, but mess up with that woman and see what that man is going to do. Not even in terms of protecting her, you know, you see how the man is breaking his back every single day to protect that woman, to provide for that woman, to make sure she's always provided for. The family is always provided for. So men are built in that way. They may not be able to show emotions or show feelings or express feelings, but trust me, deep inside they care, and they would rather die than let anything happen to their family. That's a lot of men for you.
No.
Mm. I think that
No.
answers the question, right? I think we
That
debated a bit.
really does.
Yeah.
This one I will see
Mm.
if I can record 5 minutes of it. Okay, this one I personally really want to know because I
Okay.
know you mentioned something related, but you did not dive in deep. So this question came 3 times from three
Okay.
different persons. How can a woman better support a man's personal growth without feeling like they are mothering him, like being their mom?
Okay. Like I earlier said, men have been fathered and mothered all their lives. When they married you, they didn't marry another mom or another
No.
dad, you know. So the best way to go about it is in your approach.
Mm.
You know, the hierarchy of the home is the man is the head of the house,
Yes.
the woman is the neck of the house. Without the neck, the head cannot be there. Without the head as well, the neck is just dangling.
Yeah.
So both the man and the wife are equally important in the house, but different role. So when people hear man being the head, you know, instantly they are in defense mode. Oh, da da
Mm.
da 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 da. Oh, they want to be the boss over us. I'm not your subordinate. I'm not this. It has nothing to do with boss and subordinate. Somebody is the head and somebody is the neck. The woman is built to support the man. you know
Mm-hmm.
the man. So when a man is making a decision or trying to do something to take him to the next level, you're there to support. You're not there
Mm.
to dictate. You're not there to command. You're not there to control. So that's where I go back to the old saying of, it is not what you say, it is how you say it.
How you say it?
you know Babe, the way you're doing this thing doesn't make any sense. This is how you should do it. Is a different way of talking than, oh babe, oh that's brilliant. Oh, why don't what do you think if we put this here? I think it might even work better. That sounds more like an approach. you
Yeah.
know that way he appreciates your input without feeling like he's done nonsense. You understand? You're
Yeah.
appreciating his effort and then contributing, because that's what you're meant to do. You're meant to
Mm.
contribute. You're not meant to take over.
Mm.
You're not meant to lead him. He's meant to lead you. you know but your support is vital. You don't have to say you don't have any sense. I have sense more than you. Let me show you how it works. So it is in your approach. That's how you support.
True.
Because like you rightfully said, it is support, not control.
Mm.
You're not there to control the situation. He has a plan. Listen to his plan. Listen, to respond, not to judge. Listen to his plan, encourage his plan, and then profile your own suggestion or
Mm.
your own solution. You understand? Don't just throw away his ideas and say, let me go back to this story again. Remember the story I told you about this guy that is always saying, happy wife, happy home?
Yeah.
I remember one of the days I was having this conversation with him, and I told him one thing. And I said, okay, take for instance, you have a business idea. You've thought it through. You believe this business idea is brilliant. And you presented it to your wife, and your wife said, oh, no, you shouldn't do it. What will you do? They said, of course, I'm not going to do it. My wife has already said I shouldn't do it. Of course, I'm not going to do it. And I'm like, oh, wow. So you have thought it through in your head. You have dot all your I's and cross all your T's. You believe this thing can work. And you present it to your wife, and he said you shouldn't do it. No reason given. Just say you should. I don't think it makes sense. Don't do it. And you will just not do it. You know, that's not how you lead. You're supposed to lead and your woman follows. You're supposed to
Follow.
create and your woman supports. You know, you know, so by so doing, you're swapping the roles.
Yeah.
So for a woman like that, I know his wife confidently will be able to say that this person I'm talking about. But for a woman, that's not how you go about it. He's brought
Mm-hmm.
up the idea. Even, don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean you would always support ideas that are even foolish. Because the fact
Yeah.
that he's a man does not mean he cannot have foolish ideas. Don't
Of
get me wrong.
course.
Is how you bring it. Is how you pitch that idea, or how you tell him to withdraw from it. You don't just say this idea doesn't make any sense. What are you thinking about? This is nonsense now. No, 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 don't do it. No. You know, oh babe, wow. On the surface, it looks like a very brilliant idea. But I'm thinking something. How do we get the clientele? With COVID around the corner, or with this around the corner, or with the impact of this new government, I think we might struggle in this regard. Bring him that thing that he has escaped, that has not connected in his head, on
Mm.
how that plan he has pitched can fail. And before you know, you start hearing things like, Oh my God, babe, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's true. Instead of just coming and saying, this is nonsense now. Ah, don't you know that this thing is not going to work?
Hmm.
So it's in your approach. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean you should always support madness or support
Yeah.
nonsense.
Yeah.
It's in your approach. You understand? It doesn't mean his ideas are always perfect. But
Mm-hmm.
his ideas may not be perfect. Doesn't mean he's not the man. Doesn't mean he's not the head. The fact that he's the head and you are the neck, or he's the man and he's the head of the house and you are the support, does not mean he has sense more than you.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, we don't even have sense. You
True.
understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But you need to acknowledge that role. You cannot belittle him and strip him of that role and expect to have a happy home.
No.
You have to be smart enough to let him down gently in a way that will not affect his ego. Because, like we rightfully said earlier on, you cannot take away a man's ego. You take it away, you've taken away the man.
The man,
So
yeah.
whatever you're doing, if you think the idea is brilliant, support it. Bring your own ideas, curate it with him, and say, "Hey, I think we should do it this way. I think it would give us more views or more followership or more clientele or more this if we do it this way." But don't just put down his own ideas and pitch yours. The idea is not for you to take over. The idea is for you to support. So in
Mm-hmm.
whatever you do, whether what he's doing is going in the right direction or not, support. And support can be in terms of stopping him from doing it or encouraging him from doing it better. But support is support. Don't take over. It's
Yeah.
simple. Mm.
Wow. I will be a better wife after this.
Yeah, right.
Oh God, I hope you are watching me. Oh. Let's come to me
Mm,
before he makes decision, except for only one decision he made that almost broke us apart.
mm.
I think, yeah, you guys have good communication, but
Yeah,
yeah, so you guys have, you know,
yeah.
yeah. My partner will not even make
I don't
any
know.
kind of this.
Yeah. Except only one decision he makes that almost broke us apart. Now, let's quickly take this comment quite quickly. Yeah,
Yes,
I'm glad, Crown Royal Catering, I'm glad you dropped this comment.
Lady Osborne.
Remember what I said about we are not always smart. So the fact that a man is the head and they say, oh, support, doesn't mean you should support nonsense. Now, sometimes we don't get sense. You understand? You see, this decision she said he makes that almost broke us apart. It could have been a decision that they would have both made together and it would have still flopped. But
Mm-hmm.
because they made it together, it wouldn't have had that effect that it had on
On
them.
her. Mm.
So that's where the support is very, very important. It doesn't mean the idea is always brilliant. The combination of the two of them said we not have sense. We are not always. It doesn't mean we are sensible. You know, the man if you don't get sense. How many sense we get? Doesn't mean you as the woman that you get all the sense too.
True.
Even if you are wrong at that time without sense and he's not without sense, and on our two come together and did something that flopped, you will
Mm.
laugh over it because
Mm.
you made that dumbass decision together.
Yeah.
It is not in the result, it is in the togetherness.
Mm.
Yeah. So it is not in the result. The result might still be bad. Just like somebody says, they say, what's a fact of life that you know? Say the fact that you work so hard does not mean you're gonna make it. You understand? You can work so hard all the days of your life. It doesn't guarantee success, but it is the process of doing it together. So I'm glad she made that comment because if they had done that thing together, it probably would have still flopped if it did flop, but it wouldn't have tried to break them apart because they would have made that decision together.
Together.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So the idea is the togetherness. It's not in the fact that whatever you do together will definitely yield a good result. But as long as you make that decision together, you guys will be fine and you will
Hmm.
try again.
Oh my God. Okay, so before I go for the last two questions, I'm
Mm.
gonna quickly say something. I have I had There was almost 30 questions. So what I did was I picked the most important 20 and I
Okay.
differentiated them. Now the
Okay.
first 10 questions are people already in a relationship, just
Okay.
understanding the man. But the other 10 questions, I just feel is for people who are getting to know a man. Ewa, are you there? Someone tried to call him.
No, no, no. I'm here.
Okay, so I feel like this question, the last 10, I feel like it's for another topic. Like, why do some men chase women intensely, and after they lose interest, something like that? And they have another one: do men really care about the woman's past, or is just insecurity? So I feel like those questions are when you are getting to know a man, when you are like trying to be in a relationship. But the first 10 questions was what we are actually here for. But if there is enough time, Mercy ask me what decision was later. I will ask you. It be like I know him. It be like say I know him. Okay, so I'm just going to ask the last two, and if we have enough time, because I know the daylight is already going where you are,
No, no,
then
we're good to for no, no. Yeah, go on.
okay, I'm just gonna go ahead. Do men? No, that's not okay. Yeah, I should just say it. Do men value verbal affirmations as much as women do, or do they show love differently? That question looks like it is already answered, but anyway,
Yeah, you're right. That question is already answered.
yeah.
So yeah, like I said, we may act like we don't listen to the verbal affirmation, but trust me, it fuels us a whole lot. A simple "we believe in you, thank you for all you do for us." It goes a long way.
Yeah.
It goes a really, really long way. Yeah.
Mm,
So yeah, whether he feels like he listens to it or you don't have any idea whether it has effect on him, don't stop
mm,
saying them. Appreciate him a lot. Let him know you appreciate every single thing he does in the house. Tell him thank you whenever he needs to hear it. Just be appreciative of his effort.
mm,
Like I always tell people, a man goes out every single day
mm.
to work and provide, not because he's doing it for himself. The fuel that keeps him going is his family.
True.
And knowing fully well that they appreciate and respect his hustle. We can go out into the world and every other person brings us down. You know, if on 1,000 people bring me down outside, it doesn't mean anything to me. But if
Mm,
that one person in the house,
true.
and it's vice versa. So if so yeah, so those words of affirmation, the thank yous, we appreciate everything you do, we see you, they go a very, very long way. They
Mm,
go a very, very long way. They
mm.
go a very, very long way.
Okay, so this one is the last first 10 question, and the next one I will combine it. Okay, so the last question for the first 10 question is: if a man is not ready for a serious relationship, what are the clear signs women should look out for? Now, I will use this, especially if you have taken him as a serious man.
Especially if you've taken him as a serious man. It
Yes.
makes no difference whether you take him as a serious man
You're,
or
you're
not.
already thinking with him. You're already wearing that dress in your head.
Y- you
You're
know,
walking down the aisle.
um, yeah, I think the it's not really in the behavior per se, it's in the language.
Hmm,
Men speaks language in different forms, you know. Um, for you to know that relationship is probably not going anywhere, a man will not include you in future plans. You will not hear
hmm,
him planning anything with you for the future. Most of his conversation with you or things he'll be planning with you will be in the now. There's no such thing as we when he's talking. When he's talking about things that could be a long-term plan,
hmm,
you know, you know, he's planning a business and he's not saying things like, babe, when we set up this business, we're gonna really make it. Babe, in 5 years' time, we can be importing those things to China. In 5 years' time, we can be importing these things to the UK. Babe, in 10 years' time, can you imagine what we would have achieved? He's not saying things like that. He's not including you in future plans. He's not seeing you in the future when he's talking. He's
Mm.
only seeing you in the now. It's always now, now. You know, you're probably not in his future plan. You're probably just in his now plan. You know, and apart from that, um, a man who doesn't really care about your growth is probably not giving a damn because he's not going to be there when you grow anyway, if that makes sense. So,
Actually
a
does.
woman who has a future with you or who sees a future with you would always plan for your growth. Plan a
Mm.
business with your babe. No, you shouldn't be spending money like that. Oh, why not put it together at this and build this? Why don't you invest in a shop? Why don't you invest in this business? Because he's seeing how that thing will help him on the long run, because he's seeing you on the long run. But a man who doesn't care for you to spend 5 million out of your 5.2 to buy a bag probably doesn't see you in the future.
No.
You have 5.2 million in your account and you are telling him you want to buy a bag for 5 million and he's saying, go for it, girl.
You got
Go for
this.
it. You got this. You know, he probably doesn't see you in the future. You know, it's not particular about your growth. A man who is not fighting to see you grow, he's not advising you on growth. He's not advising you of, future talks. You're not engaging in future talks. Forget going to a lot of people might be expecting me to say a man that is not taking you to his parents. Guys, they carry girl
Parents.
with they no need go meet parents. Who parents help? You know, they can carry you go meet anybody. Now your cup of tea. Oh. The next day they go tell them, Mama, forget about that girl. Now useless
Is
girl. I
their
don't leave her.
son, huh?
You understand? So a lot of ladies, oh my God, he's taking me to see his mom. Not today. They go carry you go see mom
Not
tire.
many women don't go
Mama
there.
don't see women tire. You understand? So don't get deceived. Instead, understand more the language that he's speaking to you. He's not focused on your growth. He's not focused on your future. He's not including you in future plans. You're not hearing things like in 5 years' time will be this, will be that. You know, you're probably just a now plan. You're not a future plan. So any man that is seeing you in his future, you will see his constant effort to see you grow, his
Mm.
constant effort to see you develop. He would always correct you when you're wrong, but you dey behave like chicken. The man who send you let you behave like chicken. It's probably he's just trying to eat you for the moment. He no get any plan for you to hatch chicken or egg for him.
Mm.
You understand? So understand the language and you understand where you stand. It's as simple as that.
Lady Els will ask your question. He will see it and answer as he's talking. Okay, so I will throw three questions at you at the go so that we can go to the maybe two questions will be better of them ask it 5 times.
Okay.
Why do some men chase women? I think I've already asked this one intensely and then later lose interest once they get her. That's the first one. The second one is, do men really care about women's past or is just insecurity?
Okay, so two questions.
Yes.
Why do men chase women intensely and then lose
Mhm.
interest? Okay, it could be for different reasons, and there is no clear answer to that question. There are men that have chased women as if there's no tomorrow because they really see a future with that woman and they want to, they want to, you know, they want to have that woman in their life for the long run.
Yeah.
And there are men that have chased women intensely because they just want to chop and go.
Mm.
The more hard to get that you prove to a man. Men love challenges. So when you are playing hard to get, you're giving him a challenge he needs to overcome. And if it takes 20 years, that man is going to chase you. I've seen men that chase people for 15 years, way back from when they were in the university days, secondary school. That girl for university, that girl at top notch. Everybody want that girl. They can see that girl in a later life and she's still balling. And they are still determined. See, they must get this girl. At that point in time, instead of you to make yourself a catch, you've already made yourself um
Project.
a project they need to achieve, they need to fulfill. So that man will chase you enter gutter to get you. You understand? So it
Yeah.
depends on the motive, but it's not always the case that he just wants to chop and run.
Yeah.
Another man that is desperate for you to be in his life, maybe because some certain qualities he sees in you, and feel like you just be a perfect woman for him,
Yeah.
as a wife, he will do the same. He will chase you. I've seen a man chase a woman crazy like that for years, and today they are married. You understand? So
Yeah.
it's two ways. The man can chase you because all he wanted is to achieve, getting into your pants, and the minute that's done, he has no other usefulness, use for you, because basically that's all he's been after from day one.
Yeah.
You know, and he doesn't faff around. He's achieved it. He's let you go. And somebody would chase you like that crazy, and he would wife you. So if it's the case of chasing you and eventually losing interest, he probably didn't lose interest. He didn't have interest in the first place. His interest was in one position, and he's gotten to that position, which is to eat, and he's eat. So he's
And it might
achieved his
also be
goal.
that he has probably chased you because of your outward, and then got saying there's nothing in the brain, just okay, a figure with nothing inside, also
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, you're correct. So
no
most
vision.
likely, yeah. So that's why I said it's two ways.
Yeah,
It's either he's chasing you just to achieve something, or he's chasing you for the purpose of wifing you. But it doesn't mean he would eventually wife you. If he gets you for the sole purpose of wifing you, and he realizes that, what he sees on the outside that is
yeah,
making him chase you is different from what's in your inside,
yeah.
of course he's gonna walk away.
And the other one about, do men care about your past relationship, or they are sometimes just insecure?
Um, that question is subjective as well. Men are different, but majority of men care about your past. So what I always advise people is, don't say it. It's your past, it's your past. Don't mention it. The hypocrisy of this question is that for a lot of men it's even worse. You know, it's very, very difficult for you to see a woman that her past will be worse than a man. Men are choppers. You've been chopping since secondary school days. You go come see one woman with maybe three, four, five body counts. You go come dey act like say the world don't over.
Mm.
Whereas you don't enter madman, enter dwarf, enter all kind of animals. You understand? Come dey form saints. You understand? So it's a very, very, I don't know. It's just a question that doesn't work in the favor of women. But it doesn't mean
Yeah.
because the women are bad. It's just that men like to play this old Angel Michael, this old saint like. You understand? So I always advise women as well. There's no point telling him about your past. He'll probably judge you with it anyway. So just keep your mouth shut. It's simple. You
And
know?
also, I have a personal
Mm.
question regarding that.
Yeah.
I've had somebody ask me, "Is this the biggest you've had, or something?" And I'm like, and I'm like, for real. And I
Ah,
go like, "Why are you asking me that?" And I genuinely answered that question, but it really backfired, because sometimes when in the process I go like, okay, or there's a mood swing, or like, oh, okay,
yeah.
you're thinking about
All
that
right. Let
one,
me let me tell you right here and now. That question is a bloody setup anytime, any day. I don't care who asks you that question. It is a bloody setup anytime, any day. There are some questions you will answer, you not answer another one again. It's simple. Like, why would a man ask you, is this the biggest you've had? Like, are you
Are
kidding
you
me? Are
joking?
you self can't go answer the question? Are you, as in they use something like you? It's not set up. So, it brings me back to, I think I didn't really break down my previous response when I was like, just keep your past in your past. I'm not saying don't tell a man you've had boyfriends in the past, or you were with somebody before, of course. Especially if he's not going to meet you a virgin. Of course, you've had relationship, but you don't have to go into some dirty details, because those details will
Details.
not leave his head. Oh, I remember when me
Mm.
and my boyfriend we had it in the cinema. He now brought out my. He doesn't need the whole of those details. I remember the last time I had it with my friend and his friend, we had threesome. He
Hey,
doesn't need the
God.
whole of that details. You don't understand? There's some details he doesn't need to hear. He doesn't need to know. Of course, I've had the boyfriend before you. I had boyfriends before you. It's as simple as that. We are not stupid. We know you were not playing roller coaster or playing table tennis with your ex boyfriend. You understand? We just don't need to hear the details. You know.
Yeah.
So don't give men the details they don't necessarily need.
Yeah.
You understand? Worst case scenario, you meet that your ex. You guys go to the cinema one day. Oh, that's my ex, the one I told you about. It's simple. But imagine somebody we don't tell, say, oh, my ex, oh, there was a time we had so much to drink. It was a crazy night. And I had sex with my ex and two of his friends. And I can't go cinema, you can't jam that ex. What do you think is going on in that man's head at that point in time?
You would think it's that particular seat you're sitting on, that's where the deed happened.
Do you understand? So there are some things you really don't need to give men details about. It's
Hmm.
completely unnecessary. You don't need to, you know. But hey, of course, I had a boyfriend before, happy days. So it's pretty much the same as what you talked about. A man asking you, is this the biggest you've had? Like that's a setup of all setups.
And that was something
You
I,
know,
I totally regret up till now.
you
If I
get
remember it, thank God.
you
Yeah.
understand?
Mm.
So that's a setup from the pit of hell. Like you don't get involved in that kind of setup. You instantly remove yourself from it. Because the answer you give, whether good or bad, will never be forgotten. you
No.
know oh, yours is the biggest. Oh, so you've been receiving some small ones. Oh, yours is the smallest. Oh, so I don't feel satisfy you. So there is no right
I'm
answer to
not
it.
enough.
You understand? So there is no right answer to it. Just don't answer it. It's simple.
True.
It's simple.
I will merge these two questions because they look quite familiar. They look like the same, but I'm just gonna say it, so I'll just say them together. Do
Mm.
some Okay. Why do some men give mixed signal, acting interested but not committed? Now the next one is, why do men stay in relationships? Some men stay in relationship that they are
Sorry,
unhappy with. Ewa, are you there?
before I answer that question, Crown Royal said mine wanted to know so that he would not treat me the way they treated me. So yeah, we're still saying the same thing.
That one, sure.
You can give those peripheral details, but not the crazy details that he doesn't need
Intimacy.
to hear.
Yeah.
Oh, he cheated on me, that's why we broke up. Of course, I know not to cheat on you. Oh, he eats me, that's why we broke up. Oh, of course, I know you don't eat a woman. You understand? So those details are okay. Of course, you were with somebody before, but just not the details that could be like a crazy memory in his head for him
Yes,
to
yes.
imagine. You know. So yeah, that's that. Then, sorry, can you take that question again? Sorry, I lost you there for a minute. So why do men
Okay.
act
Why do
interested
men
and
act
then
interested and then like
so mixed signals?
yeah.
Um, all right, I think that might be one question I wouldn't have answered to because it depends on how you're reading the room or how you're reading the signal. Because if you're saying the man is acting interested and not acting interested, could it be you
No, no,
misunderstanding
no, no.
him?
I think you misunderstand the question.
Okay, go
Why
on.
do men give mixed signal, acting interested but not committed? Writing, something like that. There's no form of commitment.
Is what would determine what those feelings, those mixed feelings you're seeing are. If all he's interested in is getting into your pants, of course he's not gonna act committed. Why will he act committed when that's not what his mission is? He doesn't want to be committed to you. You know, most of men's immediate reaction when they see a woman is affection. Is amorous. You know, almost see yash, almost see breast, almost fine girl, fine face. What will change that perception is when they meet you and get to know you. Do you understand? Trust me 100%. Don't deceive yourself. There's no man that sees a woman and say, wow, this is my wife. I know we've had the whole of that bullshit in movies before, but trust me, it's not real life. No man just sees a woman and say, hey, that's my wife. He might say it, but it doesn't mean he's 100% convinced that you're his wife instantly. He still needs to get to know you. You may have fine face, but not fine brain. You may have fine face, but not fine heart. You
True.
know, you may be big in your front, but also be big in stupidity. You may be big in your back, but also be big in madness. So it's basically the attraction is basically when he sees you first. And what will make him committed is what he sees after seeing you. So it's simple. It's just the intention. What are his intentions? When he moves closer to you, what did he see? That's when you see somebody acting interested but not committed. And men don't like to waste things. So if I move closer to you, it's because I'm already attracted to the look
To
of you.
you. Hmm.
I'm already attracted to your look. So I can't get closer to you. I can't say, I just look, you don't have brain.
No brain.
I won't want to waste that look. Now let me at least enjoy the look. And I'll leave you when I'm done enjoying that look. Because I won't waste you now. I don't go waste the look.
Anyway,
No, it's the reality. I won't waste the
this
look
is
because I'm attracted to the look initially. But I wanted to see whether there is brain accompanied with the looks. And the minute I realize there's no brain accompanying to the looks, let me just enjoy the one that is available, which is the looks. And I run away and go and look for the brain elsewhere. So it's as simple as that. You know, commitment comes with what a man sees inside of you. Moving the attention comes from what he sees outside of you. So it's that simple.
Okay, guys, there are some questions I'm seeing here that is already been answered in the first turn. I'm going to skip those ones. There is no point. So I'm just going to ask the last two questions because I've gone through them and I see he has talked so much on those things, and there will be no point of saying it again. I'm going to ask this one because I think this one that goes together. He said, "What is one thing a woman can do that will make a man instantly connected to her?" Now, the second question: What is one thing a woman can do that will make a man disconnect from her totally and not turn back? So it's a two different questions, but
Yeah,
it's just like the opposite
I
of
get
each
you.
other.
Okay. You see, every man, I don't care who that man is, whether that man is a Muslim, Christian, a Jew, a whatever, you know, um, every man wants peace.
Hmm.
It's as simple as that. Every man wants peace. If a man sees that above everything you give him peace, that man is not leaving you. That man is not leaving you. You see, a man prioritizes peace more than anything else in the world. You see, like I rightfully said earlier, men go into the world and face all sort of battles you've got no idea, and they have to come back to the house and act like all is well because they don't want to burden you with the whole of that demon they are fighting. You know, so if you are somebody that creates a safe atmosphere for a man to excel, to express, to talk, to feel, he feels safe around you, he feels at peace around you, he would
Hmm.
instantly connect with you. There is nothing. Even when he's in his lowest moment, you have this aura, you have this softness in you of how to make every situation just look like is good. That man is not going anywhere. A man loves peace more than anything. Wherever he feels at home, he feels at ease, he is there. So if you can give a man that, be rest assured that that man ain't going anywhere. No man has peace at home and then goes out looking for chaos. You
Mhm.
understand? And what you can do to turn off a man instantly or not interested in you
Mm.
at all, that one is a whole lot, to be honest. That one is a
The list
whole
is
lot.
long.
The list is long. I said something earlier. I said, don't ever use a man's vulnerable moment to score points.
Mm.
If a man shares something with you, or maybe at a time of, misunderstanding or issues or fight, the man breaks down and cry. Tomorrow you can't see nobody, so you they cry like baby,
Ew.
or something. It could be anything. It could be something he told you in confidence when you guys were having a good time. You understand?
Yeah.
Maybe some escapade he did back in the day, or so. Just it could be anything. And you didn't hear it from anywhere. You didn't read it in his diary. He told you himself in confidence when you guys were both happy and gisting. And tomorrow, 2 days later, 3 days later, you guys have a conflict and you spring that thing up to score a point. Chai is one of the things you may never be able to come back from.
No.
It's one of the things you may never be able to come back from. And another thing that is, like I said, the list is long, but I'm just going to mention a few that I feel is extremely important. Like I said, there is no amount of money you give a
A
woman
woman.
that is enough. It is the woman that makes the man feels like he's giving her enough.
True.
I can give my woman 200K now, and she can make me feel like I gave her 200 million.
Mm.
Whereas somebody else can give his woman 200K, and the woman will throw the money back in his face and say, "What am I going to do with this?"
What is
You
this?
understand? You understand? So that's one thing you can do to let a man lose interest completely. If you make him feel like he's not enough. Every man wants to feel like they're enough. Every man wants to feel like the king in their home. And you, as the woman, you are the only person that can make him feel like that. The only person. Because, like I said, there is nothing we do that is hardly enough. You know, I bought my wife a Volkswagen. Somebody else is buying his wife a G Wagon. I bought my wife a G Wagon. Somebody just bought a private plane for his wife. There is nothing we do that is enough. But you are the one that will make what we did feel like we've done way more than
The
enough.
word.
Somebody go out, buy Toyota Corolla 2012 model in 2025 for his wife, put red ribbon on top, put bottle of 1,500 naira wine on top, reach out, say, baby, turn around, tie cloth for the baby eye. So now follow me outside. Tara! Baby jump up, begin to roll for floor. Oh my God, begin to cry. Oh, baby, thank you so much. She knows it's a 2012 car in 2025. She knows she just saw on the internet a few days ago somebody buying G-Wagon for their wife. She knows all these things. She's not foolish. But her joy is in the fact that my husband did what she knows her husband is capable enough to do for her.
Even the thought of it.
Do you understand? So that appreciation, that feeling of making him feel like you just made me the happiest woman on earth. You just made me happy. I'm rolling on the floor. I'm happy you did this for me. That's what fuels a man. Imagine that woman coming outside and say, "What is this nonsense? Your mate are buying this, you are buying this." That can destroy that man for the rest of his life. So that's why I would
Mm-hmm.
say when you make your man feel like he's enough, still connected to the peace we're talking about. And
Yeah.
when you do the otherwise, making him feel like he's not enough, every single thing he does, you complain. He's never enough. He gives you this, is not enough. He buys you this, is not enough. He bought you this bag, or it is this other bag you want. You know, it's a turn off for a lot of men. It's a turn off. But when you make him, imagine the woman they buy 2012 Corolla for that is rolling on the floor. What do you think that man is thinking? He's already thinking of buying a 2018. Whether this time around the
Oh.
woman will jump from fence. You understand? You understand? Because he loves that reaction. It makes him feel worthy. So he's not thinking of buying Okada next. It's thinking of buying something bigger
Something higher.
because he wants to see that woman always doing that, always happy, always appreciating him. You know. So that's what I
Mm.
was. So not making him feel like he's enough, and using things he's told you in confidence or in his vulnerable moments and using it against him is a complete turn off.
Hmm.
It's a complete turn off for a lot of men. Like I said, the list is endless, but
It is.
let's stick with those two for now.
Okay.
Disrespect is another thing.
Hmm.
Before a man talk one, you don't talk 20. You know, it's a turn off for any man. Like I said, men strive on respect. As
Yeah.
much as women strive on love. Love to a man is respect. You cannot tell a man, if you like, tell a man you love him 1 million times. As long as that
Mm.
love does not come with respect for him, he doesn't
Yeah.
see it. You are just telling yourself that thing. So
Yeah.
if a man feels like you don't respect him, you don't value him, you don't see anything he says like sensible, you don't take it like, oh, this is my king talking. Because he's meant to be the king, you're the queen, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I always say something that a woman that treats his man like a slave is the wife of a slave. But when you treat
Mm.
your man as a king, you're a queen. But when you treat your man like a
Absolutely.
slave, then you are the wife of a slave. It's as simple as that. You know. So yeah, that's it.
Hmm.
Mm,
Guys, first of all, AY, I'm
mm,
not even gonna say too much, but you kind of like there's
mm.
some things I know. Even as a woman, I do like wrong. Sometimes I go like,
Yeah.
too much on the defense because I
Yep.
feel like probably because of past, you kind of like have a shield as a woman. You kind of like, so when you have all these conversations, it kind of just make you realize that the person I'm actually with is a king. So why am I still having this shield? Why am I still trying to
Yeah.
be, when he's
Hmm.
already creating a safe space for me? So
Yeah.
it's quite a lot. I personally will go through this video again to want to really digest it again because I might be
Mm.
the host, but yeah, no, everybody's a work in progress. And
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
want I want to say thank you so much. And please, I want,
Mm.
because see, I have questions that are coming in for people that are single and they want to hear from a man's
Yeah.
perspective. So can we do this again? Like maybe in about 2, 3 weeks, I'll work with your time.
Yeah. That's fine. I'm always here whenever.
Okay, so single people, start sending in your questions. There are some questions I couldn't read because it was already in it. I didn't want to like push him, He's already been
Yeah.
talking for over an hour and I don't want to like push him. He's a family man. And yeah, so I don't want to push too much. But thank you so much, guys. Send in your questions for the next episode. We're going to be talking about the ladies. I'm sorry, the men, still understanding men, but it has to do with the single ladies. Everything he has said so far, I think, is also for people that are
Yeah.
single, but
Yeah.
mainly for people that are in a relationship, that are married, and people that are struggling to be in their feminine energy. Because everything he talked about it has to do with you being in your feminine. It's okay to be a feminist, but
Mm.
it's not in your home. You will not be doing the feminine. Your man is your. He talk one, he talk 10. In as much as we say men are bad, men are this, men are that, what role are we playing? We are playing some dumbass role.
Yeah.
We
I
are the
think.
one that triggers.
I
Yes.
think to chip in there, I think feminism, like I said, is a beautiful thing, but I think a lot of people is just a way. With Islamic extremists, for instance,
Mm,
Islam is a beautiful religion, but when people take
yes.
it to the extreme, that's when we see the kind of things we see with the 9/11s and the bombings and all that. So it's the same with feminism. It's a beautiful thing, except when people take it to the extreme and then, they turn it into something else that feminism isn't. Like I
Mhm.
said, feminism started based on, women fighting for equality in the workplace, in the society, and all that,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, it is being, what's the word I'm looking for? It is being put to the extremist level in homes,
Yeah.
you know. Um, I had something recently that eats differently, and somebody said a lot of women believe that the relationship is about them, and that eats very very deep. You know why? Because that's very very true. A lot of women believe that when what they want is achieved, that's it. The relationship is perfect. It's beautiful. This is how I want things to be done, and then things are being done that way. Absolutely. Somebody tried to call me. Did you lose me there for a minute?
Yes, I
Yeah.
lost it.
So yeah. So once anything they want has been actualized in the relationship or
Relationship.
in the home, they believe, yeah, then we're good. We're good, right? Yeah, everybody is fine. But that's not the case. And a lot of
Mm.
people, and I'm talking of married people now, a lot of people take the whole of when two people come together, they become one. They take it literally. When two people come together, they don't become one. They're two
They are
individuals.
individuals.
They're two different individuals with different needs, different wants, different beliefs, different perspective about things. But a lot of people take it literally. And guess what? When they say when two people come together, they become one. Guess the gender they become? The women. They don't become man. They become the women when they come together. So when the things are going in the way of the woman, the home is happy, the relationship is happy, and that's a misconception. People need to understand that when two people come together, they become one. It's not something you should take literally. You're still two different people with
Yeah.
two different needs, two different perspectives about lives. You've grown as a little boy up to adulthood, living different lives.
Yeah.
You're not just gonna come together as husband and wife or as boyfriend and girlfriend and you just start having the same view about things.
Mm.
It's just a matter of both parties understanding the concept of different perspective. you
Yeah.
know I always tell my wife something that uh um understanding someone does not necessarily mean agreeing with that person. A
Oh.
lot of people always mistake understanding with agreement. I am saying something, you're saying something. I can understand where you're coming from without agreeing with you. You can
Yeah.
understand where I'm coming from without agreeing with me. It's
Mm.
just all about understanding. you know
Understanding.
but because people don't want to agree with you,
Yeah.
they tend not to want to understand you.
Mm.
And that's where conflicts happen between man and woman. When one party is trying to express how they feel or how a situation makes them feel, and the other person is just getting instantly defensive.
Hmm.
you know and that happens a whole lot. In fact, that's one of the things that break a lot of homes. Somebody's just trying to share their perspective about something. This is what I think. you
Mm.
know. But he's like, no, he's not like that. He's not this, he's not that. It may not be like that to you, but this is what I think.
Mm. True.
I think you did this to make me feel this way. You know. Oh, he's not. No, he's not. You can understand where I'm coming from. You don't have to agree with me.
Agree.
You know. You know. Oh, Messi, I see you raise your hand now. And I think you did that because you think what I'm saying is stupid. Oh, I can understand why you think that way because I did this. But trust me, it was a fly that was trying to chase away. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Different perspective, different way of seeing it. You were chasing something away. I'm thinking, oh, you did that because you're trying to say what I'm. You understand? So
Yeah.
we can understand each other, but not necessarily agree with each other.
Agree.
But a lot of people always don't want to hear their partner. And this is not just saying women now, it goes both ways. Your woman is
Mm.
trying to communicate something to you, you're not trying to understand it because you just don't want to agree with them from the angle they are coming from. But you can understand them, but not agree with them.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I think we'll leave it at that. But yeah, a lot of the time, the long and short of the whole sermon of over 98 minutes now is, as long as two people come together and understand that they are two different individuals with two different needs, everybody has different perspective about things. Talk. Let me talk. Let me understand where you're coming from. I would understand where you're coming from. And we
Mm.
meet in the middle ground.
Yeah.
Okay. Based on your differences, based on my differences, I think we can do this
We
and
can
we
do
can both
this.
be happy. Simple and sure.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I think at this point,
Yes.
that's
Thank
that's
thank
everything
you.
I've got to say.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much
No
for coming
worries.
on. Lady, single lady, send in your questions. I will be bringing him on again. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
guys, for joining. If you have not liked, please click on the like button before you go. Like, share to your friends and family. For married people, people in relationship. And we will be back with more life. Thank you so much, AY. I will call you specially to say, hey, Gwe. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you in November. I go still talk to your wife, Ojari.
All right. I'm glad.
Okay,
Thank
then.
you.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
Okay,
guys.
bye
Have a good
bye.
night.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night. Yes. Guys, thank you so much for joining Talk with Mercy. It was an amazing experience today. Even me, I learn and unlearn. I will still have to revisit this life again. Guys, share this video to your loved ones that you know are in a relationship, are struggling, so they can learn one or two from it. Thank you so much. Do have a lovely, lovely day and see you in my next life. I remain Mercy Obaka. Bye bye.